Hey there, I'm Natalie, and as a wellness coach, I want to walk you through how to use a Neti Pot, what it is, when you want to use it, how you want to use it, and a pro tip around how to make the benefits of using the Neti Pot last a little bit longer to help out your sinuses and allergies. First, talk about what this thing is. So technically, this is for nasal irrigation. If you and Neti Pot or sinus cleanse, those are just brands of nasal irrigation tools. This is a time where you are melting in terms of, there's snow in the winter and now spring is starting to melt that, and it's mirrored in the body with mucus. And so regardless of what climate you live in, this is sort of like a thawing out, or we're kind of melting, and the mucus in your body, or any sort of congestion or anything that's been kind of built up over winter, it now wants to be released. And so, which is why you might be experiencing allergies, or you need to blow your nose, your eyes are watering or itching, or you sneeze a lot. And so the Neti Pot really helps keep that keep those substances flowing, and to keep that anything that's melting or anything that wants to exit the body. It's one way to do that is through the nasal passages. I have clean filtered water, I have non-iodized salt, non-aluminum baking soda, and then these items are going to be something that I share with you in terms of the pro tip at the end of how you can prolong the Neti Pot benefits. And so we have organic, cold pressed sweet almond oil, and then I have the essential oils of tea tree oil and chamomile. We have the Neti Pot here. I have a spoon, and then for me, because of living in my rig right now, the water this is clean water, but I still like to boil it, and so I'm going to do that here. I do about a third a teaspoon of the non-iodized salt. And then I'm doing about a fourth of a teaspoon of the baking soda. This isn't necessary, but I do like the feeling. You can just do straight water and salt. So as the water's boiling, I want to tell you when I'm doing this. So right now it's the morning time, and the water's already boiling. So all I'm going to do is let my water cool off. I don't like to put scalding hot water directly into plastic, so I'm going to let that cool off. In the morning, before you eat breakfast, is the best time to do it. The reason why is because universal energy is going down in the morning until about 10 a.m. And so it's really easy for things to come out, like a bowel movement or blowing your nose with mucus. And, if you have like crusties in your eyes or any sort of bad breath that needs to come out, like this is when you've been sleeping during the night, your body allows everything to kind of come to the surface, and then when you wake up, you get to almost like clear the slate and clear the body. Sweet. So now that the water's cooled off, I'm going to add it to the salt and the baking soda. I like to fill it up almost all the way. You have to watch out, sometimes it wants to come out this way. And then I just give it a gentle stir. So here's where you can add in some of these essential oils if you want to. It's right now I have chamomile, which is really nice to put in a drop or two. I wouldn't go past 2 because there's you always want to mix an essential oil with a carrier oil, and actually this one has jojoba oil already kind of mixed into it, so that's the reason I like using that one. Or I have used tea tree oil in the past. This one I only do about a drop just because it's so much more potent. But this can just be a nice cherry on top to flush out your nasal passages. And it's not necessary, but it can be a nice feeling in the nose. So if there's a particular essential oil that, instinctively sounds like it would be nice to flush through your nose, use it. Again, don't go over 2 drops. typically you would be over your sink in your bathroom or in your kitchen, but I'm outside. This is where I live right now, so I'm just going to be doing this right on the forest floor. So I think this can be the really intimidating part about a neti pot for most people, is the actual act of doing it, because like I can't seem to do it where, you know, it's not going down my throat, or I just get it everywhere. So you want to tilt your head, and then you're going to insert this side into one nostril. The one that's going to be draining, you have your head tilted to the side. And so it's going to be coming out this way, because so it's going in one side and it's going out, which is why this is so potent compared to like a nasal spray or just blowing your nose, because it actually creates a little bit of some pressure, and it really moves any dust, pollen, allergens, anything you need to get out. It's going to help flush it out. You can kind of close the back of your throat a little bit so you don't swallow the water. If you do, it's okay, but you're gonna get used to it, where there's always this moment where it feels like it makes your eyes want to water. Oh, it feels so good. And then I always give like a little like blow out my nose, and then I do about half, and then I'll do the other half of the water on the other side. It's a weird sensation, but it feels really good to do this. Again, once you kind of get down the flow of like how to keep it just in your nose and not out of your mouth, it will become really enjoyable. So let's go blow our nose. Best feeling ever. So after blowing your nose, it's gonna feel really nice. There might even be a moment where it just like keeps running a little bit. Just keep gently blowing your nose until you don't have any more coming out. The pro tip of what you can do to keep this sensation of like nice and clean, now your nose has been flushed out, and salt can be a little drying, and so adding a carrier oil with your nose, or your adding a carrier oil with your finger is going to be really nice to keep things clean throughout the day, so that as you're breathing, as you're, you know, if you think about again your nose and your nose hairs and your nostrils as a filter system, you want to keep that filter system clean. So now it's been cleaned out, and now you can add a little bit of a carrier oil with clean hands. And so I just take my index or my pinky finger, and I've put down maybe a pea-sized amount of the oil, and I'm just gonna lubricate the inside of my nose. So it looks like I'm picking my nose.
Do you have the salt out?
Yeah, I do have the salt out. My partner is making us breakfast because now I've done my neti pot and it's time to eat. And so you can do this you can do this once a day. You can do this up to 3 times a day. The most important time of day to do it is in the morning before you've eaten, because you're going to get the most out and you're going to feel the most cleared out. If you're experiencing really intense allergies, you can do this up to 3 times a day. You can oil your nose 1 to 3 times a day, anytime that it would feel good for you. The last thing I wanted to share with you about using a neti pot is that it's best used as being a preventative tool, so being proactive. If your nose is already really congested and you can't even breathe out of your nose, the water may not filter through. And so if you can slightly breathe out of your nose, or you can breathe out of your nose but your allergies are just nuts, this is great to do that then. But if you're already really clogged up, this isn't necessarily going to help you out. So I hope this was helpful to learn what a neti pot is, how to use it, when to use it, why to use it, and hopefully you integrate it into your daily routine.